Let's talk about my friends from Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka and an official vodka partner of the NFL. I love this. Smirnoff is giving fans in select areas of the country, like maybe where you live, a chance to win the ultimate game day experience, from tickets to sideline passes and much more. All you have to do is go to gamedays.com until November 15th to enter for your chance to win. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. No purchase necessary, 21 plus, ends 11/15/24. See rules at website for participating area and other important details. Sponsored by Diageo Americas Incorporated, New York, New York. We do GameDays.com.
If you like to make your NFL games a little bit more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Betting Podcast. We are, of course, presented by DraftKings. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. You know that. Thanks for those of you that gave me a shout out on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. For doing that Browns-Ravens game for CBS on Sunday. This Saturday, I got Air Force at undefeated top 25 ranked Army. Really looking forward to that. You can always check out the show at Ross Tucker Pod, and it is my fault that we are recording a couple hours later than we usually do. I actually had a cool opportunity to speak to the entire Hershey company, Steve. What's your favorite candy bar?
The basic Hershey almond bar with the almonds. Is probably
that
number
is
one.
Excellent. A lot of people like peanut butter cup. I still maintain Take 5, the greatest candy bar of all. So anyway, had a speaking engagement, just got back to the home studio, and what a day to do it. Check him out on social media at Fezzik Sports. If you want to see this spreadsheet from our guy Grades, you got to go to patreon.com/RT Media and be a Tuckheads member. He posts it on our private Slack channel. Shout out to Rich Hull, Austin Moss, Brad Beck, Jim Marvis, Stacy Bjornson, 5 of the most recent patrons. Patreon.com/RT Media. And Steve, it is a beautiful spreadsheet this week, my man. One of our best weeks of all time. I was up 19 units on the week. I got one bet wrong. You were up 15 units for the week, Steve. You didn't get any bets wrong. So for the year, I am now up 19 units because I was even last week. You are up 6.5 units. We're both in the black. We're coming. We told you guys this would happen. Those of you that make those YouTube comments, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, when we got off to a bad start, how do you like us now? Let's dive into it, what happened. All right. First of all of our teaser legs hit, okay? I had Eagles, Bucks, Broncos, Commanders. You had Eagles, Broncos, Commanders. You did not go in with the Bucks, Steve, but all of our teaser legs hit. So that was 6 units for you, and that was 12 units for me just on the teasers. Then we get into the games. It was a best bet. Rams, Vikings. Rams getting 3.5. We both put 2 units on the Rams. They won it outright. The only bet we got wrong the whole week, I put 1 unit on the Titans getting 10.5. Thought 10.5 was a good number. Wasn't close to enough. I lost 1 unit there. You put 2 units on the over, Steve. With the total was 45. The Lions hit the over themselves with special teams and whatever. Jags, Packers. Jags getting 4.5. You put 1 unit on it, Steve. That hit. Colts, Texans. We both leaned to the Colts getting the 6. That covered. Eagles, Bengals was a teaser leg. That was easy money. The Eagles won by 20. We were getting 8.5 points for you guys. Browns, Ravens, the game I called for CBS, we were getting 11.5. And it always makes me laugh, Steve, when these people on YouTube comment, let me see where you were getting 11.5. You know, we were getting 11.5 on DraftKings Sportsbook when we were recording the show. Sometimes the lines move after the show. That's primarily probably because of Steve, but it happens. 2 units on the Browns. Jets, Patriots, nothing. Cardinals, Dolphins. I put a unit on the Cardinals getting 3 points, even with Tua coming back. They won it outright. Falcons, Bucks. I had the Bucks as that teaser leg. Bills, Seahawks. We had nothing. Saints, Chargers. We both leaned to the Chargers laying the 7. That worked. Raiders, Chiefs. I put a unit on the lowly Raiders. I like getting the 9.5 at home. They only lost by 7. That hit. Broncos we had as a teaser leg. Commanders we had as a teaser leg. Cowboys we had nothing. My leans that didn't work were Cowboys, Seahawks, and Jets. Steelers, Monday Night Football. We both laid the 6, Steve. 2 units. It hit for the week. Up 19 for me, up 15 for you. How about 6-0 on our best bets? I told you what we are for the year. On our best bets for the year, we're now 30-23, which now puts us at a 57% strike rate. Steve, what do you have to say for yourself?
Let's go. You know, as far as all the TikTokers and YouTubers and the like, I've noticed what's amazing to me is the inability to differentiate someone that actually knows what they're doing, like we do, and someone who's just providing content. And the best evidence I can give, it's no secret, and I'm not alone here. It happens to a lot of pro sports bettors, but I've been kicked out of several books. They won't take my action. That's no badge of being great. In many ways, that's almost like why I didn't have enough cover. I didn't make myself look dumb enough to be able to stay there. But the number one thing that you'll see is that for people who actually win betting sports, it's getting harder and harder to actually get down because a lot of books are treating this like blackjack. If you're an advantage player, they really tolerate you, but they don't want your action, bottom line.
Well, it's a business, right? I mean, they're not in that business to lose money, right? That's the whole idea.
Exactly right. And as a player, you almost have to be a sport, and you know what, and not just play the very best bets, but like fire into the NFL card. That's where our show can help you. If you're an advantage player, you know what? No one ever got barred betting every game on an NFL Sunday. That's the sort of action every sports book wants to see.
That was our crowning moment, by the way. The whole week was our crowning moment. The whole stinking week. Crowning moments presented by DraftKings. Submit your winning bets for a chance to be featured. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Steve, our week 9 bets are presented by Labatt Blue Light. Celebrate all the money you made tailing us this last weekend by drinking some Labatt Blue Light with your friends and living life to the power of We Always Enjoy Responsibly beer. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Steve, before we make everybody some more money, let's save them some money with westshorehome.com/Ross, where you can get 72 months, 0% interest with up to $1,500 off. That's amazing. You know how I know it's amazing? Because I'm doing it. We're getting a couple new doors put in, including one on my detached garage studio deal. That door is not in good shape. Thank goodness I can get the 72 months, 0% interest. I don't have any interest till 2030. That's 2 presidents from now. That's 6 full years. I'm going to be making money with West Shore's money that I'm saving, whether it's in the Even Money podcast or anything else. westshorehome.com/Ross. And by the way, you can see the before and after pictures of my house. westshorehome.com/Ross if you're curious. westshorehome.com/Ross. Let's keep it rolling, Steve. We'll start Thursday night. This is so interesting to me. It's the Texans and the Jets. The Texans are getting 2 points on the road against the lowly Jets, Steve.
There's going to be some creative Halloween costumes on Halloween in New York. Some disgruntled Jets fans. And who the heck are the Jets to be laying 2 in this game. Let's start up the teaser bandwagon again this week. We're going to tease the Texans. We're going to wheel all our teasers. Texans from +2 up to +8.
Totally agree. That is a teaser leg for me as well. We move on to Sunday. The Broncos and the Ravens. The Ravens are laying 9, Steve. The total's 44.5.
Yeah, you know what? I would love to tease Baltimore down from 8.5, but since it's 9, I'm going to show a little discretion, and I'm just going to go ahead and pass this game. Quick note on Denver. You don't see this every day in the NFL. So last week, Denver went for the throat against Carolina. Sean Payton apparently not happy with the Carolina Panthers. So normally we would see a game like this that Denver would have been, focused for 2 weeks on the Baltimore game. I don't know if that's the case. They were absolutely fully focused last week in that game against lowly Carolina.
I'm going to put 1 unit on Denver getting 9. Their defense is very good. Baltimore a little bit beat up. 9's a lot, man, for an NFL game. I mean, that is a lot. Now, do I think the Ravens will bounce back after the Browns loss? Yes. But 9 is a lot for a defense as good as Denver. 1 unit on the Broncos. What about the Dolphins? Tua's back, Steve, for sure. And he played pretty well, I would say, against the Cardinals. They're getting 6 on the road in Buffalo.
It feels like a shootout, but I got to tell you, I don't like playing over 50. So I'm just going to lean. I make the game right around 6, but I'm going to lean to the over 50, but no play.
I guess the only thing I could think of here would be maybe a slight lean to the Dolphins with Tua's second game back, but certainly don't feel strongly enough about it to actually go ahead and bet it. Not going to do that. I do have a bet on the next game, though. It's the Raiders at the Bengals. Raiders are getting 7.5, totals 45.5, Steve.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Bengals still need this game like blood. They're 3-5. They're not dead. They can still make the playoffs. The Raiders, Ross, they are dead. They're good at catching points. They're not good at winning games. Bengals teasers will make that our second teaser in our teaser cornucopia.
All right, so I want your opinion here. There's part of me, I'm definitely teasing the Bengals down to -1.5. I'm with you on that. That becomes the best bet. But I'm a little bit thinking about taking the Raiders plus the 7.5 as well. What do you think?
It's certainly plausible to do both. It would not be a mistake at all.
All right, I'll do it. I'll just do 1 unit on it. But I like giving people more plays. So I'll go Las Vegas plus 7.5, 1 unit, because I don't feel as strong about it, but 1 unit Raiders plus the 7.5. How about the Commanders on the road against the Giants? Totals 43.5. Giants are getting 3.5, Steve. Are you surprised by that number?
I'm not surprised because it's where my power ratings make the number, but I'm going to invest in the New York Giants for 2 units. So let me make my case. So if people bet on the Giants when they're hosting the Bengals and they're catching 3, they bet on the Giants when they're hosting the Eagles catching 3. Well, what do those 2 teams have in common? Well, they're both better than Washington. I mean, the Eagles are a significantly better team than Washington, and Washington has a banged up quarterback still, and the emotional high of that Hail Mary, etc. This is going to be a close game. Giants plus 3.5. Wouldn't surprise me if the Giants won, frankly.
Totally agree with everything you just said and the logic for it. I've got the Giants down as a 2 unit bet plus 3.5. I think there's an excellent chance they win that game. That's another best bet. All right, Chargers, Browns. The Browns are getting 1.5 at home. Totals 42, Steve.
Yeah, now this one is close in terms of am I going to go ahead and use that as teasers? But I do think Cleveland, massive upgrade in the locker room, etc. I heard that Watson never threw for 300 yards, and apparently Flacco and Winston have done it 7 times now. So the team, I know they're not going to make the playoffs, and they're a below-average team, but New Orleans just imploded in their game against the Chargers. I think they'll be able to keep it close. Cleveland in teasers.
Yep, Cleveland goes up to plus 7.5. I'm right there with you. Look, they believe in that quarterback. I think he'll throw a pick or two because he should have last game. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers win it, but I think the Browns make it a competitive game. That's another best bet. What about the Cowboys getting 2.5 in Atlanta? And the total is 52.5, Steve.
So I'm going to lean to the Falcons, actually, minus the 2.5, not a play. So because of that, I'm going to avoid the Cowboys in teasers. I'm very impressed with Atlanta's offense, and with such a high total, the teaser, the extra 6 points aren't worth as much. So I'm going to pass on the game. No plays.
I'm taking the Cowboys as a teaser leg up to 8.5. The Falcons defense is not good. The Falcons defense is a problem. They can't get any pressure on the quarterback. I think Dak has a big day, and I think it's a close game. Cowboys up to 8.5, another teaser leg for me. What about Patriots Titans? Patriots are getting 3.5. That total is 38.
You know, I'm surprised that my power ratings agreed with this number, being north of 3. But the more I think about this, it's like, who are the Titans to be laying more than a 3? And I love plus 3.5. New England 2 units plus 3.5.
Well, you know me, Steve. 3.5 is my favorite number to get. I agree. The Titans have just gotten blown out back-to-back weeks. Listen, there's a decent chance they win the game. Maybe they cover the spread. But if these teams played 10 times, the Titans would only cover the spread 1 or 2 times. Like, in my mind, give me the Patriots plus 3.5, 2 units, another big-time best bet. Saints, Panthers. Saints are laying 7 on the road, Steve. Total's 45.
I know Carolina has been absolutely putrid. I'm going to go back to, I really think Denver was like all in that game against Carolina. I have to invest in Carolina. Catching the 7, I mean, the Saints can't score. So 2 units, I'm not going to watch the game. Carolina plus 7.
I can't do it. I just can't do it with Carolina. I think Derek Carr will be back for the Saints. That changes the equation considerably. The Panthers defense stinks. Carr will put up some numbers. I can't go with you on that one, Steve. What about, I would just have a lean to Carolina. What about the Jags and the Eagles? Jags are getting 7.5. Totals 45.5.
So this line's 7 to 7.5, and normally I would not be backing the Eagles. But the Eagles, the Jags have injuries. Their wide receivers are injured. They got O-line injuries. And I think they're a dead man walking team. They had the 3 straight home games where they were in London and then back-to-back and then back home. And they couldn't stop Malik Willis. They got the ultimate break early in the third quarter. And so because of that, I think, and the Eagles are gelling, I'm going to put the Eagles in as my 4th team that I'm teasing. By the way, I'm playing every combination, 2 units each on my teasers.
Yep, the Eagles are my 5th teaser leg. Eagles down to minus 1.5. That becomes another best bet. I'd be surprised if they lost that game. They're playing very well. Bears, Cardinals, interesting line. Total's 44.5. Bears laying a single point on the road, Steve.
Yeah, 44.5. I know the Bears didn't score for 3 quarters in their last game, but I do think that the offense is better for the Bears. Arizona's an over team. I'm going to go over for 2 units.
Ooh, okay. Over 2 units for Steve for Bears Cardinals over 44.5. Man, I don't know about that, Steve. The Bears defense is good. That would surprise me. I don't really even have a lean on that one. I could try to give you guys one, but I don't have it. What about Lions and Packers? The Packers are plus 3.5. The total is 47.5.
Can't do it, and here's why. I don't think Jordan Love's going to play, but he could. Remember, Green Bay's got a bye coming up, and this is a hugely important divisional game with the groin injury. If Love plays, this line's going to come down to like 1.5. If Love doesn't play, this line's going to go up, and Lions are going to be laying 4.5 in this game. And with that uncertainty, I don't want to guess. I really don't know. I got to pass.
Yep. Everything you just said, I agree with. My instinct says Packers plus the 3.5, but too much unknown with Love. I mean, listen, he's either not going to play or he's going to be hobbled a little bit if he does play. either way. I know Malik Willis done a lot of positive things. Not enough against the Lions for me to take that bet. What about the Rams and the Seahawks? Rams are laying a point on the road in Seattle. Totals 48.5, Steve.
Yeah, I saw this line just went up to 1.5. Either way, you know what? The Rams were catching 3 last week on the look-ahead line. Now the Rams are favored. I know Seattle has not been playing well, but I think it's going to be a competitive game. I have to put Seattle in teasers, so I'll play Seattle. I want to get them up to plus 7.5, but regardless of the number, I will go ahead and put them into my teasers.
Up to 7.
Yes, but in my personal betting, I'll make it 7.5. But I don't want to complicate the whole thing, and so if it's plus 1, I'll even take it at plus 1. Yes.
Okay. Colts Vikings Sunday Night Football. The Vikings are laying 6 points. The total is 45, Steve.
You know, the Vikings are a team that everyone's talking about. Are they the best team in the NFL? Or are they going to be the last winless team? And I think now it's clear they're just a pretty good team. And a pretty good team laying 6, that's so many points. Give me the Colts plus 6, 2 units.
Ooh. So right now, and again, I just got home after doing the speech. Have they officially said who is starting yet at quarterback for the Colts? Because I know on Monday, Steichen said that he is, right now, everything's being evaluated. That tends to lean to me that it'll be Flacco time. I don't know if it will be or not, but if it's Flacco time, I definitely like the the Colts plus the 6. And I think it probably will be. I just don't know if I can take that risk, Steve.
Yeah, 100% agree that Flacco is not just the better, but the significantly better quarterback right now for the Colts. So, I mean, if I got Richardson, I'm okay with plus 6. If I got Flacco, I got a great bet.
All right, I'm going to do Colts plus 6 with you, but just 1 unit. A lot of very concerning things from Richardson. Just 1 unit on the Colts plus 6, but it is another best bet. Lastly, Steve, because the Niners and Steelers have bye this week, we got 15 games. It is the Bucks at the Chiefs. Totals 44.5. The Chiefs are laying 8.5.
Absolutely. Let's finish off our potpourri of teasers. All Kansas City does, Ross, is win. They don't win with good stats. They don't win by margin, but they win, and that's all they really need to do here. So Tampa's still with the suspect defense and bad wide receivers now. KC minus 2.5 is my 6th teaser. So warning, here comes a little bit of math. So I've got 6 factorial divided by 4 factorial, 2 factorial. That's 15 different teasers, all for 2 units.
Me too. I've got 6 teasers as well, all for 2 units. The only difference is I took Dallas up to 8.5, and you took Seattle up to 7. Otherwise, we are aligned on our teaser legs, trying to make more money for you guys. Before we get to an email question for Steve, which I love, by the way, I want to make sure you guys, listen, you like to place wagers? How about Smirnoff giving fans in select areas of the country a chance to win the ultimate game day experience? From tickets to sideline passes and much more, go to WeDoGameDays.com until November 15th to enter for your chance to win. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please not share with anyone under legal drinking age. No purchase necessary. 21 plus. And 11/15/24. See rules or website for participating area and other important details. Sponsored by Diageo Americas Incorporated, New York, New York. Man, my disclaimer voice is amazing. The point is Smirnoff's the world's number 1 vodka. They're an official vodka partner of the NFL. And go to WeDoGameDays.com to enter for your chance to win. WeDoGameDays.com. Steve, you know I love talking about food and posting it on social media, so let's talk about HelloFresh.com/free even money. You can get 10 free meals, 10, at HelloFresh.com/free even money. applied across 7 boxes, new subscribers only, varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/free even money. Just got ours delivered. Awesome. Pre-portioned ingredients. Now, we got the kid-friendly ones because they're already kid-tested, and we wanted them for my daughters to have meals. So you can whip up tasty restaurant-style meals right in your own kitchen. It is pre-portioned, which is huge. Plus, they have a ton of options. HelloFresh.com, even money. Hey, we have an extra minute or two here, Steve, to get to some email questions. If you ever take advantage of any of the sponsors you hear on the show, send me an email, ross@rosstucker.com, with whatever question you have for Steve. This one comes to us from Gaetano, who's an avid listener from Montreal, Canada. Some sites allow you to tease 2 teams playing each other. For instance, Team A is playing Team B, and Team A is favored by 8.5 points. If you feel the game will land right at the spread, but not sure on which side of it, is it not a good strategy to play a 6-point teaser of Team A minus 2.5 and Team B plus 14.5? It's such a key range, 3 through 14, and leaves plenty of room for a backdoor cover too. Your thoughts from Gaetano, or Gaetano, I have no idea, Montreal, Canada.
It's a great question. Absolutely not. You never want to play a same game teaser with opposite sides. The reason that they're extremely negatively correlated. Let me give the extreme example. So just to simplify things, let's say the line is pick 'em and you think the game's going to be very close, all right? And so 25% of the time Team A is going to win in a blowout, 25% of the time Team A is going to win by 6 or less, 25% close win for B, 25% B gets a blowout. So if you tease A, you're going to win 75% of the time. If you tease B, you're going to win 75% of the time with other stuff. So that's A-okay. But if you tease A with B, because of the negative correlation, you wind up only winning half the time. And so you're paying vig on these teasers. So because of the negative correlation, I will go as far as to say it is never correct to play a same game teaser with oppo sides on your teaser.
Got another question, Steve, and I think this is from last year, but we can get to the concept anyway. It's from Nick Chahani right here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I received a $10 free bet and placed it on the Packers to win the Super Bowl at plus 20,000 to win 2,000. After the Cowboys win and heading into San Francisco, this was during the playoffs, is there any strategy to hedge my bet to make sure I win at least something? The money line is pretty steep right now. Maybe make a live wager if the Packers go up early? Thanks. So Nick had a huge bet before the Packers-Niners game last year in the playoffs, divisional round.
Yeah, so in general, you hate playing big money lines, but if you want to go ahead and earn off of it, you can go ahead and let's say you bet $100, for instance, on a team to win the Super Bowl, and then they're in the playoffs. You can certainly say to yourself, okay, I want to make 110. So even if a money line's like minus 300, you could say, I'm going to go ahead and bet, risk 330 to win 110, whatever, to, make sure you wind up having a profit. One thing I like to do oftentimes is if I have an underdog, like there's a 7-point underdog in the playoffs, I'll tease the other side. I'll tease it down so they essentially just have to win the game.
Ooh, love it. Thank you, Steve. Fantastic work. Check us out at Ross Tucker NFL, at Fezzik Sports. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for tuning in to Even Money. Make sure to also check out the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.